Hello, welcome for today's module. We have been studying in our previous modules about high-rise structures, the various elements or systems that are used while constructing the high-rise structures. Like we studied about foundations, the pile foundations or deep foundations. Now we are going further towards the facades of these buildings. Also, along with the facades, we are going to learn about few other techniques that are used in the roof systems as well. So specifically in today's module, we are going to learn about various glazing systems, the kind of curtain walls that are used, or there are various types of it. And further, we are going to focus on another element called as skylights. Now, the importance of these both the elements is majorly for bringing in light inside the building as well as at the same time protecting the building from the external forces. This is the basic thing we all know. But we are going to learn about each and every component that is used while forming these elements and the various functions that these elements cater, the process of construction or installation of these elements is our focus for today. All right. So, so first, if we talk about curtain walls, why is the need of providing curtain walls? What is the need of it, and how did they come in picture in the construction industry? Now, if you know the mainly the facades of building, when we have previously the systems of RCC construction, in that the walls or facades had various kind of treatments. There were fenestrations that could add up to a design of a facade. There were construction, masonry construction for the facade, etc. But when the need of making the facades lighter as well as the facades which will allow more and more light inside the building as well as will allow ventilation, such kind of facades were the need of the time. That's how the curtain walls or the glazing they started coming in picture. So if we see in general terms, why are curtain walls more beneficial over the other materials? So first and very important is they reduce the energy consumption due to the insulation they give to the structure. If we see, it forms a kind of a cover to the existing building, so they definitely allow lesser light as compared to, if for example, if I am providing a curtain wall as a glazing towards the southern side, then the amount of light that would otherwise come from the openings from the southern side is going to reduce due to the kind of glass I am using for the overall facade. Then it also, if sometimes it is on northern side, etc., that time it will allow maximum light to come inside the building and also not allow the direct wind to enter the building, which is sometimes needed. Then also the building's dead weight, otherwise if it was a masonry work, so there would be a dead weight which is now reduced by using a curtain wall. And also the structure becomes lighter because of this. Then high speed construction, the execution of curtain walls is pretty fast as compared to the traditional masonry methods. Then the building's ability for installation for various pop-ups on the curtain walls is also possible, so increases. So then easy to mix with other facade coatings, so whatever additional coatings are expected, these curtain walls or the glazing systems, they easily allow the other systems to cope with them. Then also the maintenance costs are reduced. Then the high heat insulation happens in this case. Then there is also the insulation of noise, for noise, or it is soundproofing for the building. This function is also catered because of these. Then there is moisture insulation also happening. Then the resistance to vibrations caused by the atmospheric factors like high winds and natural disasters in case of in such earthquakes, etc. cases, right? So if we see also, if there are a double or multi-wall glasses used, then these possibilities are increased. You can use single layer, or you can use double or multi-layer of the walls of these glass walls. Then the ability to use variety of glass designs also comes in picture. We can have combinations, colors, shades. Then so it becomes versatile in nature. So it can also run in a prefabricated or semi prefabricated panels. We will see the types of curtain walls further. So there are options available. Then it can also run, it will also beautify the modern special effects at night. So as compared to the other types, the kind of light that is going to be permitted from the inside of the building at the time of night, it's going to be different. So it also provides the comfort comparatively. So, what are curtain walls? Let us see. We saw why did they come in picture. Now let us try and understand in detail about curtain walls. So, specifically, curtain walls can be said as a facade that also features advanced capabilities such as fully insulated heat, sound, and external environment protection, moisture insulation, then wide angle light and landscape insulation, exterior wall construction to withstand the wind force or any other external forces. Okay, so because these are non-structural elements, it can be also made of a lightweight material, reducing it also reduces the construction cost due to that. The curtain walls facades, they do not carry any dead load, right? The weight from the building, other than its own dead load weight, they don't have to carry any other load. Then the wall transfers the horizontal wind loads that are incident upon it to the main building structure through connections at floors and columns of the building. So, though it is designed to resist air and water infiltration, the sway induced by wind and the seismic forces acting on the building. So this is how it protects, as well as it does not add any other dead load to the building. So if we see how is the design of these curtain walls done. So if the basics about design, if we see, these systems are typically designed with the extruded aluminium members. Okay, why aluminium? Because aluminium majorly does not get corroded easily like steel, etc. Or it doesn't even has a larger life as compared to timber, steel, etc. And the major point is its weight. The self weight of aluminium is comparatively extremely low, and it is pretty flexible and good and easy for installation, right? So the aluminium frame, it is typically infilled with the glass, which provides an architecturally pleasing building, as well as it benefits such as daylighting. It allows more and more daylight to come inside. So the other common infill for the aluminium frames in case of such walls would be also stone veneer, metal panels, louvers, etc. So instead of glass, even other materials can be used in combination. And they can be openable windows as well, vents. So curtain wall need not be a fixed kind of a glass, it can also be openable. Okay, so the combination of windows, doors, or anything can be added. So they differ from the storefront systems in that they are designed to span multiple floors. Now this is one basic difference, that a single curtain wall will range from ground plus 1 to ground plus 15 to ground plus 50 or more than that. So that is it will become an overall monolith kind of a system at the end. So they can be designed for spanning multiple floors, and also take into consideration the design requirements, like majorly that when while designing, important points are the thermal expansions and contraction, then the building's sway and the movement that will occur, the water diversion that is going to be expected, the thermal efficiency for cost effective heating, cooling, and the lighting in the building. So all these factors needs to be considered while doing the design of these curtain walls. Now let us see what are the various components of a curtain wall. There are various types, but in every type there are going to be basic common components. So what are these? So first and very basic would be the mullions. Now these mullions are these vertical members that are going to span from floor to floor level, or they can span in between as well. So then we have horizontal members that are the horizontal rails or even spandrels panels. Then there will be vision glass. So glass will be the last material to be added in according to the purpose. It can be vision glass, it can be opaque, it can be mirror, or any other type of glass, or any other material can also be replaced in place of the glass. So these are the basic components of a curtain wall. So these vertical mullion, the system formed because of that is anchored to the slab. Okay, so if you see in this diagram, the at the level of the beam to the other levels beam, these mullions are attached by using these anchors. Now, what are anchors? They are majorly called as gravity anchors. There are also wind anchors that are necessary for two-story system. When the system is more majorly used for two-story common, that time it is wind anchors. The adjustability and the ease of erection issues, that is also done by these anchors. The unitized panel anchors must also accommodate setting the larger panels. So while setting large scale panels, the unitized panel anchors are used. So these are the anchors. Then if we see about where are the joints going to come, that time there has to be a thermal expansion allowed. So definitely this is also a structural, or this is also a material. So it will have a quality of expanding or contracting according to the seasons. That is why the thermal expansion of aluminium is considered. And the joints are sealed. So kind of silicon kind of sealant is majorly used. So for the joints, into necessary slip joints specifically. They may need also to transfer the for transferring of the shear, or the moment that is happening. Then the infill panels. So finally, whatever panels are getting infilled can be metal or glass, and they can be used conventionally. The architects are very sensitive to design of infill panels, because that is going to be appear at the end, as well as the whatever appearance or the use that it is going to provide towards the interior of the building at the same time. So let us see the types of curtain walls. Okay, so according to, if we see according to their form or shape, there are straight curtain walls, there are angular or angled curtain walls, there are corner curtain walls, or even there can be curved curtain walls. Now this curve might be in the appearance, which will be made by using few angles. So it also forms under the angled curtain walls. So if we see function wise and the installation wise, there are these three basic types of curtain walls. So if we see curtain walling types, the classification of types of curtain walling varies, but there are following terms that can be used. So first one is the unitized one, which is pre-built with glazing in a shop and erected on site. So majorly this whatever design has been decided, the sizes of the panels, the framing, all together they are formed outside the site or in the factories, etc., and then bought on site and installed. Then this system becomes quite fast and quick to installation. Also, it will have more and more accuracy. There will be very less chance for any kind of errors. Then there are panelized systems. So these are stick curtain wall. Also, they are called as stick type of curtain wall. So these wall glazing system are structural glazings where the frame verticals or the mullions and the glass panels are erected and connected piece by piece on site. So it is one of the oldest curtain wall type. It is in this the mullions are first attached to the floor slabs, maybe at the beam level or the slab level on the outer side, and then the glass panel between the vertical and horizontal mullions along with the spandrel, which can be either glass or aluminium, is installed onto the erected gridwork. So first the gridwork of aluminium members like mullions and rails is first made, and on that the infill of panels is done. The spandrel is a portion at the slab and beam level. Now, the visual effect of stick framing is often taken into account, since there will be more vertical mullions taking the wind load than other glazing members. So, generally this kind of glazing system is preferred for buildings that are not that tall, okay? Because here the construction is going to be little tricky, right, as compared to the precast ones, or to be assembled on site. That system is much more easier, but this one is little tricky. So usually less than 3 to floor buildings, these kind of systems are used, because the air, wind and heat can also play a vital role in the stability. And the stick glazing method takes these factors while they are built. So The glass units between the aluminum frame and frame slide when there is a thermal factor, right? So when we talked about the expansion and contraction that is going to happen to the system, the factor of safety for such considerations is to be done. Then if we see the positives of this type of system, the stick glazing system, it is simpler. It is a simpler glazing system where as compared to the curtain wall glazing. So the glazing can be fabricated off-site. This allows for lesser time for erection than other curtain wall glazing systems. So in this one, generally this stick glazing type of curtain wall glazing system, it requires more time to assemble and hence it is more time consuming as compared to the other systems. So if it's the members of this one, there is a continuous thermal spacer provided for that expansion and contraction process. Then basically we know there is this horizontal mullion, there are these vertical mullions, and between them this insulated double kind of glazing can be provided. So there is covering vertically from the interior as well as the exterior. Now the third important and pretty commonly seen type of glazing system is the spider glazing system. I'm sure you all have seen in malls around our city or many type of buildings. They use this mostly the hotel buildings, the which are on the highway, along the highway. If you remember, they have been using this spider glazing system. So the development in the field of architecture have always enabled curtain wall systems with glasses that are bolted with the plush stainless steel fixtures. So they provide for an uninterrupted view. So if we see the previous systems, they had a certain framing inside it, which broke the area of the vision, right? They have certain modules. So here, when it's seen as a requirement of a clear view, so there should be no breakage in the view. That time, these systems are pretty useful. So the stainless steel fixtures, they resemble a spider with legs, and hence this name has come up. They are pretty high quality and high grade stainless steel fixtures that are used. So also the temperature expansion that is expected is also less in fluctuation as compared to the other systems. So this system encompasses the fasteners, the glass panels and panes that are employed here, the spider brackets apart from the fixtures. The glasses used for spider glazing are very high quality and toughened glass mostly, that can also withstand any weather conditions in the exterior of the building. So if we see major advantages of these are they offer very unhindered interior view due to the presence of non-interfering spider fixtures that are minimal in their design principle, like the area for them and even their thinner design makes it pretty good looking. So since they offer maximum transparency, they provide maximum natural light. So that is going to penetrate into the building. Let us now see about skylights. Okay, if we see the horizontal members or horizontal openings in majorly the slabs or the top parts of a structure, which allow light and but also at the same time safeguard the structure from rain and other forces, are the skylights. These are very effective way to bring daylight into the home or any building. So skylights, they are used also as windows which are installed at the level of roofs and ceilings. So they are well designed daylight features can also deliver many benefits to the interiors of a building, such as high light levels. They get potential for energy savings, view and connection to the outdoors, the light wavelengths that help maintain human circadian rhythms. That is, we were talking about good amount of natural light for the activities to carry inside the building. In when we were learning building services, that time we understood this importance of natural light. So that definitely reflects into a better immune system of a health, right? So the skylights, they provide opportunities for ventilation as well. So it should be properly installed to avoid water leakage for sure. So let us see in what all forms do the skylights are available. So they can be rectangular, circular, oval, they can be pyramidal shape or diamonds, they can be triangles, multi-sided or tubular as well. The skylight, it minimizes the heat gain during the day and heat loss during the night, but it does not offer a view or ventilation. So, skylight sizes, if we see the size, the various sizes that we can construct a skylight, the size of skylight is directly related to the daylight levels and solar heat gain. So, if we are planning to provide skylight for any building, we must be aware of the daylight levels throughout the year and throughout the month. So, the solar heat gain that is going to happen due to it, it should be studied. The skylight should not be more than the 5% of the floor area in any room with which will have many windows, and not more than 15% in any room which will have a lesser windows. Okay, so this is a very basic thumb rule one can follow while making the design of skylights or locating the skylights. So if we talk about the orientation now, so the skylights on north-facing roofs, they provide relatively constant illumination with a cool light appearance, while the skylights on south-facing roofs, they provide constant high illumination levels and the greatest potential of heat gain. So according to the positives and negatives, it should be oriented. The energy now, choose a skylight with an energy performance rating that is appropriate for the building or the climate. Then the ventilation, some skylights offer the ability to ventilate hot air and which is gathered near the ceiling. The skylight may open manually or automatically as well. Then the moisture control. So poorly installed skylights can be prone to water leakage. So it might allow the water inside or the humidity to come inside, or to increase the level of humidity can be increased due to the moisture allowance. Then the skylights they are best installed by professionals and in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. So let us see the types of skylights. So there are glass skylights. For any flat skylight, the optimal material is glass. So most glass skylights will be composed of tempered safety glass or laminated safety glass, or a combination of both of these. Then the laminated glass is with a plastic inner layer which is designed to hold a place in where it is when it is breaking. Okay, so then there are low emission glasses which are more energy efficient, but it has additional benefit of blocking heat gain as well as heat loss through a skylight. So it provides a very comfortable light without darkening the skylight, which as in the use in the tinted glasses. Then there are dome or acrylic skylights as well. So they are for all commercial, industrial and institutional buildings. These can be used. So with a flat or sloping roof, any construction they can be accommodated in. So for new construction or renovation of existing structures, both the places they can be accommodated. So there are fixed skylights as well, which are not openable. The fixed skylights, they provide an economical alternative in creating a spacious place or interior that is filled with natural light. So if we see, for example, art galleries which need an indirect but enough sufficient amount of natural light for display. Then they capture abundant daylight for rooms in which the maximum lighting is the basic requirement. The stairwells, which are otherwise closed in dark spaces, that can be transformed into very light kind of space. Then there are ventilating skylights. So these are openable ones. Definitely they are mostly at the roof level. They can act as window, or they can give a chimney effect, or passive air conditioning can be done using them. Then there are pyramidal skylights. Now pyramidal skylights are seen majorly to capture more and more light from at the whole time of the day. As the sun is passing from east to west, or maybe inclined towards south or north, that time the pyramidal skylights will allow that light to come from all the sides. Okay. So they have a system of shared screw splines, integrated internal weep and drainage. So the basic very important part for skylights is the drainage system. So the proper drainage has to be provided along the edges of any kind of these skylights. Then if we see further inventions in skylights, there are green skylights which are Energy Star. Then we have custom skylights for specific forms or shapes. Then there are barrel vault kind of systems. There are tubular skylights. Now tubular ones are more affordable, okay, and they are high performance lighting solution that brings daylight into interior. So now they sometimes are also called as sun tubes or sun tunnels. These are they're also called as light tunnels at times. So these light in this the light pipe is coated with silver finish mirror quality, that it allows the full spectrum of sunlight to be channeled inside. Now this is a very peculiar character of these tubular systems. Okay. Then the if we talk about construction of these skylights, so basically while doing the design, as I mentioned about the design criteria, one must know about the size of the opening. Then the location of the skylight is very important, the angle of inclination. So all these factors must be considered while designing a skylight, and majorly the water infiltration or whatever water is going to fall on that roof should not be coming back from inside the room from the skylight. So these are all the important considerations which are to be kept in mind while designing the skylights. All right. Thank you.